Thank. Hi, everybody, and let's again talk today. So today, you saw the subject I have written: being aware of your thoughts in your mind. Okay, so this is immediately you would have thought, no great shakes. I know about it. Yeah, definitely, because all of us have worked so much on our minds. It's very easy for us. It's definitely a very easy topic. Okay. So basically, if you observe, we finished all our energy related and then we are stepping into mind related. Okay. So this week and of course next week also, we'll do some interesting things related to our mind. Now, mostly it's easy for everybody because with joining hands and otherwise also we all have worked so much on our minds, so we pretty much know about our minds. Okay, even right from childhood probably parents have like, be smart, think, can't you think, concentrate. It's all about mind, right? So we have paid too much attention to making our minds mainly. I think by now we must be really tired, or our minds must be really tired of us. So that much we have worked on it. But have we spiritually evolved in our minds is the question. Just by being aware of the mind is okay. But have we spiritually evolved when it comes to our mind? What does that mean? That means, are you aware of the way you think? Are you aware of the chitta chatter which goes behind? Are you aware how to calm your own mind? Basically, to deal with your own self in terms of mind is spiritual awareness. Okay? So that is what we are going to concentrate on, just to know a little bit about it. So what all we can do with mind? One is to figure out how our mind works. And the second thing is to organize our minds. That's one way people work on. And clearing our minds, basically thoughts, right? Other than thoughts, can there be anything in the mind? Or is it only thoughts? Interesting, no?
Many things, I guess.
Can you just tell me what it can be?
Negativity.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's a feeling, right? Even emotions are in the mind.
Yes.
A part of the emotions which is in the body, which we call as feelings. But emotions are there. Pictures are there in the mind. You can classify them as thoughts, but just thoughts are, maybe thoughts are all of this. It's a very, it's something which we have never thought. We just can't mind over. Everything which is happening in my head, which is not tangible and which is not seen by others, we classify as mind, right? Yeah, memories are there. Everything, all
Beliefs.
of this are mind. Kavita, you said something?
Beliefs.
Yeah.
Belief.
Beliefs, thoughts, memories of past, even future is kept in the mind. Okay. What I'm trying to say is, how do we say that there's no future? I mean, everything in 4D is happening right now. How do we say that? When we talk about the past, it's all stored in bits and pieces, like a reference point, like the key when you want to search Google. Okay, so it checks with that, maybe emotions usually checks with that. It pulls out that one particular event, and then the details are built. The story is built after that. Okay, now you can
Mine is a computer.
Yeah. Something closer to mind, you can tell computer, but mind is even bigger than that, which we don't know. What we know, we have simulated computers.
It's like in the cloud.
Yeah, that's also. Okay. So what happens is, so you think something, it shows the image, probably few images, the story of knowing comes into picture. So it's a whole experience, right? We can't say that in my brain, in my hardware, everything is stored. No, it's a whole experience. Knowing comes, feeling comes, emotions come, pictures come. All of it gives you finally like an experience. Now, that has to be stored some way in the hardware, in our brains. Somewhere it must have stored because past, no, it's happened. But when I tell you to imagine your future, you imagine, right? From where those pictures are coming? From where those experiences are coming? Just because it has not yet happened, we put the word imagination.
Mm.
Because it has not yet happened. But hardware should have something where this brain is accessing and showing you. That means it is already stored. That means it has already happened. It is just that it has not come into your reality. That is why you call that as imagination. It's very weird. But then that's how come to the conclusion that there is no future, past, present. Everything is happening at one time at a different level, at a 4D, 5D level. Okay. So now all of this is mind. Mind is a very general term. Okay. Even consciousness is part of mind and everything. Okay. So, so what do we do when we organize it properly? And when we clear certain few things which we don't want, clear the clutter of thoughts. And when we are able to listen, what happens? It just makes our environment little easy for us. And we can take a shorter and an easier path in our life. Okay? That's all we try to do with the mind. So that our environment, our life can be easy. That's all we want. And that's all we are trying to do with the mind. But how to achieve this? There are different various methods, techniques.
By meditation.
Meditation is possible, do therapies, do whatever. There are plenty of things. Each one has their own way of making things, all of these things. And each one will be very easy with one of those. Some people cannot stand meditation. Some people would like to do some kind of a chanting or whatever that is. Some people would like to sleep. Some people want to probably take a stroll in the park or in some nature or something like that. Some people want to swim. You know, there are various things. Some people who want to probably do exercise. They have their own way, but everybody will figure out.
Music.
Because, what is that?
Music.
Yeah, music also.
Mm.
Basically, there is some limited amount of anything we can take. After that, we need to clear it. Fortunately, every time when we sleep, it clears. And so for next day, again, your mind is free. But if you're not sleeping properly, if you don't have 7 to 9 hours of sleep and a good quality of sleep, it doesn't happen. Why you don't have good quality of sleep? Something is still there in your head, and then it is causing clutter. It is not clearing. So basically, you need to figure out a way to clear it. Okay. So if you have a sharp mind and a fast mind, you think you're lucky, you're very smart, you think, right? Parents say, oh, my daughter is very smart, very sharp. But actually, having sharp mind is good. But a sharp mind, which is unaware mind, what does that make you feel? It is like a dumb, stupid mind, which will make you feel that you are right all the time. And though it is looked as sharp, actually you turn out to be a dumb person who is like a parrot, probably saying something which makes sense to others. Maybe because the way you are, maybe you're a senior person, maybe you're a boss or whatever, they put up with you. But everybody at some level feel that, my God, when you will start talking, things like that will happen usually, right? So what happens is usually the characteristics of sharp and fast-minded people, they do not listen to others. They want their say first. And they want the other people to agree with them because they're very sure that they're right. But when you take a larger picture, you'll see how wrong they are. Right? So what we have to concentrate on, not being smart, sharp. Smartness should be there, but you have to be aware about your own mind. And you have to always understand that in this moment, in this situation, I, with my limited knowledge, thinking that this is right. But I might be wrong too. And everyone has their own choice to believe it, agree it, accept it. I am that I am. That's all, full stop. Okay? So this will make you feel not to feel bad in situations, or maybe be open to receive anything. And then you will turn out to be the good, best person. Because you can always think about it, get your awareness, and then you can act on it. That requires a lot of patience, listening, and trying to understand in your head. So we are only trying to achieve that. But to achieve that, first we have to understand who we are, what we are, how our mind works. So what we are going to do now is a bit of a self-assessment of our own mind. That's what we are going to do today. And you'll be surprised what all comes to you. And you'll realize that what are important for you and what is very hard for you. And many times you will figure out solutions. Just by doing this, you will find solutions. And you'll be able to calm your mind. So this is the most easiest, safest way of understanding your mind. So you know that I am just giving the taste of everything. I am not fixing anything here, right? All these days we are just having a taste of something. We are not fixing anything. So nothing to feel scared or bad or anything. And you will see that what happens in your mind. In the next week, probably I'll help you how you can organize your mind, or to figure out what's there in your subconscious mind so that you can organize it better. Okay? Then we'll also do a little more on the mind side, how we can understand our mind better in different situations, etc. Leave that now. So are you all ready? Let's try to figure out our minds. Okay, no conclusion should be drawn here. It is only you sample your mind. As I'm telling you what happens in your mind, you have to figure it out. Okay? Good. Okay. All of you sit comfortably in the way you want. Take a deep breath. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Concentrate on one point in front of you. I think you have gazed at this point several times now. So see how it looks today. Is there any change? And then be aware that your eyes are looking at it so that you're only concentrating on looking at it and nothing more. And in the background, you're hearing my voice. And now shift your awareness to your breathing. And in your next breath, close your eyes gently. And then with the closed eyes, look at that point again, how different it looks now. And then take your attention behind your eyelids. And now you see whether you're able to see any image or not. Just slowly go backwards to the center of your head and feel how your head feels. Is it heavy? Is it like an echoing silence? Do you feel around you there is like a globe, something around you? Just be at the center of your head and only focus there. Now, with this focusing, I want you to start paying attention to some intentional thoughts. Intentional thoughts or thoughts which what you hear will bring some thoughts in you. They are very intentional, intentionally brought into your attention. So when I say that, bring some thought intentionally, what is that thought you brought? Observe. Notice the first thing that came to you. Now, when you're thinking about it, is that happy or unhappy feeling? Just observe, that's all. Now, as you're observing that, there is a background story for this thought. I want you to observe that background story. What is that? Now, as I'm talking to you, I want you to start thinking about your work. Let it be any work, maybe your job or maybe the work at home or anything. I want you to think about your work. What is that thought which is coming to you about your work? Now, what is the background thought which is coming? What is the background story about your work? Observe how your mind drifts to that. And also notice this time, when you think about your work, is there any commentary which is going on in your mind? Like someone is telling, someone is talking, you hear somebody's voice, somebody's words, or your word about it, your opinion, your judgments, or someone's opinion. Just to be aware of this commentary which is going on. Now I want you to drift and think about something about your friends, one of your friends. What is your first thought? Who is that? Observe. Think about some connection with that friend, maybe a good time, maybe an event. What is that which comes to your mind? First thought. Again, is there any background to this friendship? When I'm saying the background, what is that your mind is picking up? Is there any story behind the background? Are there any criticisms or something down about this friendship? Is there any commentary from the third person regarding this friendship? Is it too noisy? Or is it very calm and quiet? Now, I want you to think about your own opinion of your own mind. What do you think about yourself? What do you think about your own mind? What opinion you have? Do you feel that you're judging yourself? Do you feel pity, empathetic about your mind? Is your mind very fast? It can drift very fast. Or is it very slow? Do you feel that you have a lot of knowledge? Do you have a lot of awareness? When you think about your mind, what is the first thought which comes to you? And anything you remember suddenly? A background story about yourself and your mind? Is it someone else saying something about your mind? Is it your own talk about your mind? Are you analyzing this guided meditation, what we are doing? How did your mind drift there? Or something else you're thinking? What is that something else you're thinking? Any other thing is just entering your mind, to-do list or commentary or something, somebody's something. Or do you feel your mind is so tired that you just want to relax? Is there anything which is coming to your mind which you're never aware of it so far? Because when you give a chance to the mind, it brings everything in urgency to you. What is that one thing which is telling you, making you notice? Okay. I want you to drift your mind to something about your deepest desire. Do not think, allow it to drift. Just put the intent that I want to drift to my deepest desire. What is that first thing which is you're seeing or feeling? Ask yourself, why am I seeing this? Do you already know about it? Or you're surprised? Is there anyone else who is part of that deepest desire? Think about it. Now, I want you to drift to the deepest fear which you are hiding and avoiding. What is the first thought which is coming to your mind? Did you know about it? Or are you surprised? What is the background story of this? Who is involved there? Now I want you to drift back to the present tense where I am talking and you are hearing. What is that one thing which you had not noticed? You are picking it up in your mind now. How come you had not noticed it earlier? And why that is coming now? Okay. Now, I want you to slowly bring your attention back to your breathing, back to the center of your head, back to your eyelids, and slowly open your eyes when you are comfortable. Okay. So, what did you find about your own mind?
A lot of judgments.
Okay. So maybe you visit back again and think about those judgments. Okay. The more judgments we let go, the better it is for ourselves. Judgments are like these, in the barbed fences, you have those stones, right? The judgments are like those stones who will hold this barbed fence very tight. And it's only meant to harm whoever tries to trespass. And that's not nice. So you better have a boundary, but you don't have to have a barbed fence. Right? So you need to think about those judgments. The moment it comes to your awareness, naturally you will allow it to go. That's the beauty of it. That's the difference between unaware mind and the aware mind. You don't have to do any great meditation work, that is everything. Just be aware of it, then it will go. Right? And it takes a lot of effort to say that, Pala. I found a lot of judgments. It's really nice that you have figured it out and allow it to go. Okay? Okay. Who else? Anybody found any surprises? Although Neha slipped into sleep. Okay. Maybe she got dreams. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say कि सब कुछ ऑटोमेटिकली हो रहा है, अपने आप ही थॉट आ रहे हैं, अपने आप ही जा रहे हैं. एंड समटाइम्स आई फील कि जैसे एकार्ट टोली बोलते हैं ना कि लास्ट में कि उनको जब एनलाइटनमेंट हुआ था कि मैं अब अपने आप के साथ नहीं रह सकता, तो ये फीलिंग मुझे कितनी बार आती है कि एक आवाज लगातार माइंड में चल रही है और मैं रात में आँख खुल जाएगी, वो आवाज फिर चलने लगेगी और मैं अपने आप से कहती हूँ अब मैं इस आवाज के साथ नहीं रह सकती, भैया भगा दो इस आवाज को. तो तब क्या करना है, कई बार मैं बहुत परेशान हो जाती हूँ.
Exactly. That's exactly his mind. How to hold this mind? You can't. Characteristics of mind is that it's flowing. It's coming like this. And it's momentarily you'll feel, no, I want to concentrate. I should be in the mindfulness. I have to be here. Okay. And without you realize, it moves. We have to accept it. That's what is mind. Do not stop it. But make yourself drift and let it go. Do not hold on to it. Because that's the only way you can do it. Do not ponder on it anymore. Feel it, let it go, let it pass by. It's like a mist which is coming, and then you experienced it, you saw it, and you let it go. You cannot hold on to it. First of all, it is nothing which you can hold on to it. The only choice you have is to let it go. But you don't have to ponder over it. Because it's of no use. Because that is the characteristics of the mind. That is why I did. The more I spoke, all of you actually drifted, right? Did anybody stop? Was it possible at all? Not possible. So it's
Especially when you're giving the cues, it's absolutely not possible to stop.
not possible at all. In fact, if I can easily guide you to something wrong also. So anything is possible. So that is why you should not believe your mind. Mind is totally truthful in this moment. Because I'm saying, think about your friend. You thought about your friend, and so that is true. But if you had made a judgment about your friend, is that true? Did I tell you to make judgments about your friends? I did not. That's how we get stuck in our mind. Mindfulness is only doing what is supposed to be done now and leave it. That's very difficult. It's not possible. Don't even try to achieve it because it's not possible. Okay? So, what is that you can do then? Identify the background story. Identify the what is that? Commentary by others or you. And then you say, oh, I have so many layers here. And that's it. That's the only way we can be aware of it. The moment you are aware of it, it doesn't become the truth. It will be like, oh, I have stored all of this. I think all of this. Is that the truth? No. Because those are the things you saw because of the triggers from me. If I'd given a little more trigger, so many more things would have gone. So is that the truth? No, it's not. In this moment, this has come up. That's all. The more you start being aware of yourself like this, the more you'll be under your own control. It becomes easy for you. Then you don't become sad, replaying certain few things in your head over and again, and start feeling bad in your body and assuming some assumptions people have made about you. All of this will go away. You will be witnessing it and you let it go. Okay, Kavita.
Isha,
Ah,
I always, I find my thoughts kind of very mundane and trivial and frivolous. Nothing really substantial.
okay. What is that? Can you define substantial thought, please?
Substantial can be like, you're either like you're in some God consciousness or Christ consciousness or something like that, Buddha consciousness, or maybe thinking of something wholesome, wholesome, like a constructive, you're building a theory or you're building a project or you're making a formula. That is what I would say is substantial.
Okay. How much time do you really require, Kavita, to have a substantial thought or to stay with the substantial thought? Tell me. I'm talking thought. I'm not talking about your project, okay? Project
Yeah.
can go on weeks and years and all that. I'm talking about thoughts. How much
So when I try to think consciously about a wholesome thought, then I can stay for a long time. But when I'm not conscious about it, then I find that I'm in a mundane thought process.
Okay, now let's see. You can stay there for long is what, Kavita? One day.
Yeah, if I consciously am thinking on it, consciously, I have to be consciously thinking. Otherwise, I will drift into that mundane and trivial thoughts.
Now I want you to try this thing today, okay?
Okay.
Something. Okay, let's think about you think, you do it after this thing, okay?
Mm.
After this session. Just maybe think about Buddha's life or
Mm.
Jesus Christ's life. Whatever, you pick up what is you know.
Yeah.
Think about one aspect of it and figure out how long you will think without any other thought coming in between.
Okay. Okay.
Okay? This is for your own understanding.
Okay.
Okay, you will prove yourself that maximum how much time we can have, even without a background story or even without commentary.
Right.
Okay, because our thoughts by default are multi-layered, and we always infer with our current life.
Hmm.
Like you may think about a teacher. The moment you think about the teacher and the class, you will invariably think about other participants, some of the questions, what are the images you created. So the thoughts are like that. The thoughts cannot be on one thing concentrated.
Okay.
But when you get into some sort of a trance,
Mm.
that is when you are not conscious.
Mm-hmm.
That is when actually your mind has lost the control, or
Hmm.
rather, the deeper part of the mind has taken over.
Hmm.
At that time, you can go in one stretch on a story,
Okay.
not
Right.
on one dot, a story, I'm telling you.
Hmm.
Also, it drifts, but it drifts on one thing, may not be layers.
Hmm.
But it's not always possible everybody to get into the trance all the time.
Hmm. Hmm.
Correct?
Right.
So
Hmm.
it is very momentary.
Hmm. Okay.
And with a third party assistance, you can be probably stay in that for some time.
Okay.
Got it right? You got something,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
So what we have to accept is this is the characteristics of a mind.
Hmm.
So what I do is I want to clutter unwanted thoughts.
Hmm.
I want to be aware of what I am thinking. That's all we aim at. And
Okay.
that itself will give us greater clarity.
Right.
Instead of not having any clarity, it's better to have clarity.
Hmm.
It's still occupied with thoughts. That's what I'm trying to say. Understood?
Hmm.
But do this exercise and see.
Okay.
Okay. Neha.
Hi.
Hi, Neha.
Sorry, I slept off in between, but that usually happens in your session.
That's what you wanted, I guess. You needed to relax.
Yeah, yeah.
Mind will give you what it is.
So I have been thinking that the minute you start to identify with the mind, that is when all the issues begin. Because one is the mind is changing every moment, and so is the very moment that you are also living in as an individual. So
Yes.
for the fact that not everyone is able to understand the very constant flowing nature of the mind and be in sync with it, which is why there is a mismatch. Because we're not flowing at the same pace that the mind is, either that is stagnating or we are stagnating, or even if not stagnating, it's the mind is controlling us, or we are trying really hard to control the mind and believe we are in various consciousness or whatever. Considering the fact that it's just many tools to come to the same point, we tend to get lost in the noise of many consciousness. So then, like, I'm just trying to make a point here to understand what can be done to detach from the identification of it while continuing to be in realization of it.
Okay. What happens is, as we talked, mind is not just number of thoughts.
Correct. It's the identity that we have that believes it is us.
Yes.
But the core part I want to look at after I have understood the nature of it is how to work in detachment and yet fully be aware. That is the part I want.
So mind has several facets of it. One is the thought, other one is feelings. Now thoughts are, when we say thoughts are very important, thoughts are the ones which will manifest. We talk about the seed thoughts, etc., right? But everything has to have a attached feeling. Now, when you're detaching, when you're talking about detachment, you have to detach this feeling part. And so you'll still have the thoughts. But you detach those feelings, because the feelings are the one which will make you unaware, aware, inhuman, human, all that is. Okay? That is basically being an observer about your own mind. The moment when Pala said a lot of judgments, a lot of feelings would have attached there, which may be good or bad for her. It may be sad. Immediately the background story will start. When did you become sad? Why that? What did I hear? You will hear the commentary of somebody saying something. So the thought will lead there. If you are able to detach it with awareness, that is, I know, I understand, but today wherever I'm standing, I'm all right. That is how you detach it, so it doesn't affect you anymore. Still it remains, because that's your mind. You can't throw away something from the mind, but you can only try to detach your feelings. When you detach your feeling, you become like a stone. Is it really required? Sometimes it is required. You don't have to be possessive sometimes. You don't have to have too much attached with your desire, where you get very sad if it doesn't happen. So there are certain times when you don't have to be attached. You can be detached and you still can ponder on it. That is when you get the awareness. Because if you have the feelings and emotions, your awareness won't come. Feelings and emotions will give you in perspective of something. Judgments will come. So the moment you remove the feelings and emotions and think about your thoughts, most likely you take the best decision for yourself in that moment.
Because emotions cloud your mind that way.
Yes, absolutely.
So when you see everything from a neutral observer perspective,
Yes.
that's when you fall in sync with your very self, or
Yeah.
like they say.
Yes. But there are sometimes you need to feel it, because that's what you are as a human being.
Yeah.
So that time you have to feel it. Even the sorrow, when you feel it, it's like you empty yourself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, someday it will come. How much ever you are aware person, someday it will hit you hard. Whereas if you feel it and finish it, and then you are able to get an awareness because you finished, now it's easy for you to detach, and then thought about it, then you put a completion.
So which is why they say the mind is a vessel, considering you need to keep emptying it and understanding what is getting filled back
You
into.
empty it after feeling it fully.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Then
then you see what's getting filled back inside.
Yes, then you will have a neutral aspect of it. Then you can think about it. Otherwise, you end up crying. You end up crying all the time, crying. And then you cannot have a neutral perspective about that event.
Okay. Got it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Hannah, you have anything to say? Or anybody anything to say?
I was just thinking that means you have to be mindful about which thought you have to attach to an emotion, and which thought you shouldn't, because I think when you attach the emotion or the feeling, it just becomes big.
See, as a human being, what happens? You will naturally feel sad about something. You naturally feel angry about something. Or you get opinionated about something. Jealous. So many things happen, right? It's good to experience it. But instead of putting deep into it and crying and the whole day going for a toss, feel it, then you tell yourself, yeah, hey, let's see what's happening here. Is there any way that I can think differently? Now that it happened, it's okay. What can I do about it? Is there any way differently I can think about it? That's how you have to elevate yourself up.
Acknowledge, but don't get attached to them.
Exactly. When you acknowledge only, you will have the power to detach. Otherwise, you can't.
Because if you
Mind-
don't acknowledge, you will be rubbing it on,
Yes,
shoving it under
yes.
the carpet.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then it'll come up one day in a
Yeah.
very huge big blow, which you will have to spend a lot of time to do all the layers. That's all about is mindful. Mindful is only to know that your mind processes like this. It cannot be still at all. That's what is mind about. You cannot make it still. But think, allow it to go. It can move, right? Okay, let it move then. Don't get hold, just you hold it like this and so much do about it. No, allow it to go. It's like, oh, I'm thinking about it now. When you're doing meditation, it will come. It just keeps coming. There's no way you can stop it. How about making it keep going and going and going and shifting and shifting? That's the best.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, what is the time? 5:51. Yay. Anything more or we are done? Next, I'll tell you what I'm planning to do next time, okay? We will see how our mind has kept our life inside our mind. It's a very metaphorical process. It's a metaphorical process means it's like a room which you will see things. And you will wonder why these things are there in the room. Okay, so next week we'll try doing that. We'll try to interpret a little bit, not too much, but rather we'll see how I can organize that my room so that in turn it organizes my mind. It's a very beautiful metaphorical way of working with your mind. And that you can start doing it for your work, your job, or your relationship. All of it, you can do it. And it works beautifully. Okay? So that's what next we will try to do. Okay?
Isha,
Go ahead.
question. When you are aware with your mind
recording
and
is
how it
breaking.
is processing, would it automatically organize the mind also?
You're talking about the next week's one?
No, today's.
Today's, it not necessarily organizes, it's kind of declutters your mind.
So it organizes. If it declutters, it gets organized.
Declutter is throwing, organizing is putting it nicely.
Right.
Okay, so we didn't put any nicely, we didn't put anything because the subject also you thought about what I spoke.
Hmm.
But there are so many other things in your mind, no? We didn't touch those.
Okay.
Right?
Because when you declutter, a decluttered mind is like an empty room. An empty room is totally organized, no? It's already organized.
Yeah, empty room doesn't have anything to organize. Okay,
Yeah.
that's different. What I'm saying is, so there are so many other things also. In this time, the context was probably the friend, the work, and some few things only we did, right?
Hmm.
So next time when you're doing a meditation, if you do not have anything to think, okay, just think about your mind, randomly how your mind is thinking.
Hmm.
Do not have any subject like a friend, like a work, what we did, do not even do that. Just sit and observe for 10 minutes, that's enough. Think that, what am I thinking? Oh, I'm thinking this next, or next I'm thinking. Then you will see that instead of being an observer, you're jumping into it. In your mind also, when the thought comes, you'll think, oh, I'm thinking this is an observer talking. Whereas you'll immediately think, today I have to call this person, I should not forget. Okay, that you jumped in. Right? So just be aware how you are an observer and how you're jumping in. Observer, jumping in. Just observe that. At some point, you'll feel blank.
Right.
That is when you are emptying it. That blankness won't stand still for a long time. But you will realize that your becoming blank could be 2 seconds. Realize that. And you can enhance it more. This is the most easiest way of doing meditation, actually. Okay, try it, all of you, try it.
Yeah, Isn't I got a question.
Allah, tell me.
Yeah, I came across, some chanting word like, I'm not the mind, I'm not the, body, things like that. What kind of effect it has on your mind?
Where did you come across?
I've seen it in a YouTube.
Okay.
It's Sadhguru's video.
Yeah,
He
that's
tells you
right.
to breathe in saying, I'm not the mind, and he tells you to breathe out saying, I'm not even the body. It mainly works for watching your mind through your breath for detachment. I've done the same thing.
See,
know.
I'll tell you something. There are different techniques. We spoke in the beginning, right? Somebody will do swimming, somebody will do exercise, somebody will do that, blah, blah. Everybody has their own technique. Whatever is easy for you, you take it. Now, the thing is, I'll tell you, when we were doing a group in the regression class, our teacher is saying something. We are all doing it in the group. We are drifting, we are doing exactly what he's telling. He said one word, he mispronounced it. The whole class got jammed there. Nothing moved. And he again changed it. And then again we moved. But we took a different direction because every word matters for the mind, what you think. It's like guiding. Okay? So, even whatever words you choose, it'll guide you in that direction. If it resonates with you, you will easily flow. If you do not understand what it is, then nothing will go. You will still be in the body. You will tell, I am the body, I am the mind, I am everything. So it just depends, Pala. It depends on which context you are in.
Okay.
You have to run to a meeting and you are hearing Sadhguru's video. Do you think anything will happen? Nothing will happen. Meeting will happen, right? So it also depends on what situation you are in and what you believe in, and the language and the word, everything matters, right? So I don't know how it affects. It depends. Okay, guys, no more question, I guess.
So when you're meditating and you start sleeping, what happens?
You
Why
need
this thing happens?
time. See, we
Is
don't.
it your mind becomes very calm, or is just in the
It is.
trance?
It is. See, what happens is many times when we start practicing things, we learn to do deep relaxation very fast.
Mhm.
So deep relaxation will take you to that level, gamma level, or even not gamma, alpha, beta, whatever that level, even beyond that, where you get into the deep sleep.
Hmm.
So it goes the somnam, that is the trance level. It goes, and even beyond that is the deep sleep. So that means to say that you need that relaxation. You have not relaxed so much.
Mhm.
Allow it to relax. That's good. Okay, but if you have sufficiently relaxed and then you are trying to do the meditation, then you don't sleep.
Hmm.
And some people have the tendency that they cannot sit. They want to do something or the other.
Hmm.
Okay, so such people can't even sleep. They can't sit for the meditation. It'll itch here, it'll itch there, or something happens and they just can't sit. I know some few people, they cannot sit because they're so busy in their life. And the only relaxation they can is to sleep.
Hmm.
So sometimes what happens, such people, to avoid sitting also, they will sleep off. But most often it is going into the deep relaxation.
Okay.
Okay, so if you are not totally asleep, but you are like groggy or you are like hallucinating, that's the very ideal space where you're absorbing everything and having your own interpretations like a dream, something is happening. And it's a very healing space. That's not actually sleeping, because once the meditation gets over, they will wake up.
Hmm.
If they are deep, it will be like Neha, Neha, get up should happen, and then Neha will get up. Okay, so that's the difference. But it's
Okay.
okay. If your mind needs sleep, please sleep. It's fine. You didn't lose anything. That's what you should tell yourself. Okay, guys, done. It's exactly on the dot, 6 o'clock.
By
Bye.
the way, I have Corona
Thank-
here.